Welcome everyone to Reaper Speedsoft How-Tos. For our first how-to we have here is going to be how to tune your HPA Speed Trigger. Now, you would want to use an HPA Speed Trigger for any sort of tuning for one reason only. You have two adjustment screws, 1 and 2. On a normal AEG Speed Trigger, you only have one adjustment screw, and that's the one up here. Now that will stop all over travel. So instead of your trigger pull being like this, it'll be like this and back from where your trigger is back to the back. But the second adjustment screw here adjusts from this back part to here. So basically my trigger is completely tuned already, and it is in the perfect spot where every time I just lightly tap it like this, it hits the trigger board, sending the whole the air through and all that. So same thing with an AEG, but if you do have an AEG that's not internally upgraded or does not have the capacity to withstand a ton of shots in a low proximity, like if you have a low rate of fire on full auto and that sort of stuff, and your gun can't handle too much more, I would suggest that you use an AEG speed trigger so it slows you down a little bit and you're not just trigger banging it like this, because that will probably overheat your motor, which is right here. So when you have to do this, you need two tools, and that is your HPA battery or AEG battery if you're using an AEG, and your Allen key. I don't know the exact size of this Allen key, but I usually just test out with all the different Allen keys I get. My speed trigger actually came with this Allen key, so I know that it's the right size. So I'm gonna plug in my battery, and then I will show you guys how to tune. All right, guys. So the battery is now in. So as you can hear, mine's tuned pretty finely already, to the point where I can tap the side very lightly and it will go off. But let's say you just installed this speed trigger and your pull's much more. So this first adjustment screw here, this adjusts the over travel, and this adjusts what I like to call the under travel, because you know this is called the over travel. So what you would do is you would stick your Allen key in this hole and you would turn clockwise. Clockwise will tighten it and bring it towards your fine point of the trigger board. Now this back one over here, this takes it from behind and will push it, I guess you could say forward, still forwards this way, so that it reaches your trigger board. Now notice I can't tap the back of it because I don't have mine that super finely tuned, because if I do, the trigger board might get destroyed. So I keep it on just right here, perfectly in the front. And I mean, who needs to tap more than the side and the front? Really no one, because no one's gonna be going behind their gun and shooting like that. So first you're gonna tighten this one, and you're going to go until you hear your gun shoot, or your FCU make the shooting noise. So like so, tune, tune, tune. If you hear that, then stop. Now you're gonna try to hit your trigger a couple times. If it keeps shooting, then you can keep, this is where the fine tuning comes in, and you turn it very slightly until you get to your perfect point where you can just tap. And on the back here, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to turn, shoot to make sure it keeps shooting, turn, shoot to make sure it keeps shooting, because once you pass that line, you will now have two screws that are pushing against each other, and your trigger board is right in the middle of that. So you don't want that at all. I could just kind of squeeze and destroy your trigger board. So make sure you're very cautious when you're peeling these two together. So shoot, turn, and when you get to the finest point, like right where I have here, this point, then you just kind of stop, and you have done it pretty much. So now you have your perfectly fine-tuned trigger, and you can be super happy with trigger banging the rentals on the field. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and comment down below if you have any more questions on this topic. Thank you. Is it too much to ask for? Can I put my lips on your skin, babe?